everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and I'm back again because we have more side character info, mess, drama to cover. Amberlynn has not posted anything on YouTube, at least, since her live stream from last week. I guess she's really doubling down on like, I don't have any vlog content to give you, but I will come and live stream for 2 to 3 hours while drunk on buzzballs once a week. So I guess we'll have to wait until Tuesday or Wednesday this week whenever she decides to do that. She has posted a little bit on like TikTok and Instagram, but I covered that in my last video that I posted this weekend. So there's really not a lot to update you about when it comes to Amberlynn, but we did get the Q&A from Beck this weekend. I covered that on my last video. And Alexis, Amberlynn's former friend of a year or so, has also come out with a fourth Q&A, which I should also note that she has taken down the one video that she posted. I think it was the like second Q&A maybe, where she like asked for people or like said that Chrissy, her ex, deserved all the doxing. So Alexis has taken that one down, just in case you're wondering. I was looking back through her channel this past weekend and couldn't find it and was very confused. So there is one video of Alexis's missing, but she did come out with this fourth one. The thing I want to say about Amberlynn's approach to social media right now is that she is probably going about this all wrong. I would be inclined to think that people would move on and away from Alexis if Amberlynn was posting literally any kind of other content. Like if she would give some vlogs or anything else, I think people would begin to tire and move on from Alexis. I don't think that there's going to be that much more information that Alexis can put out that is going to make anybody feel any type of way. And at this point also, like the tides have turned a little bit on Alexis. I feel like she had a lot of support, and I think she still certainly does have support because she is coming out with still new information about Amberlynn. But I think some people are like questioning why her stories kind of changed from here to there, and maybe some like, you know, like there was that text that Amberlynn got during her last live stream that seemingly came from Alexis that I feel like people are like, what the fuck is that about? There's just a lot of questions, and I think Amberlynn could move people past and forward away from Alexis onto other things if Amberlynn would literally try to do anything on her channel. If Amberlynn would literally get on here and post a vlog, I feel like all the reaction channels would be reacting to it, maybe not necessarily covering Alexis, although I would guess a lot of us would probably still cover Alexis, but like eventually if Amberlynn just gets back to the normal like grind of YouTube, people are going to have less to care about when it comes to what Alexis has to say. So it's baffling to me that Amberlynn just sits there and does nothing. I'm not saying even also that Amberlynn has to address anything. I mean, that's also the problem, right? Like when she doesn't do anything or put any kind of new content under her own channel, then when she gets on here and does these 2 to 3 hour live streams once a week, what is she going to answer? What kinds of questions are people going to ask? They're going to ask her questions about what Alexis had to say. They're going to ask her questions about what Beck has had to say. And so that's going to be Amberlynn's 2 to 3 hour live stream this week. Now, if she was doing maybe some vlogs, maybe she was going to spend time with Mama Lynn, maybe she was doing literally anything else, then people could potentially ask some questions about something else. But right now, the only thing on the internet that's happening in regards to Amberlynn is what Beck and Alexis have had to say about her. So I think she's shooting herself in the foot, just completely doing nothing. I think she's only bringing more attention to these people who are coming out and saying stuff. And that's not to say that people wouldn't care anyways, but like truly, what are people gonna ask her about in this live stream she does this week? Anyways, let me shut the fuck up. We should really just get into Alexis's new video. We're gonna do classic react. Haven't watched any of it yet, but the title of this video is called Amberlynn's Former Bestie's Fourth Q&A, parentheses, this one gets emotional, several exclamation points in parentheses. So I'm curious to see what's up, what's gonna happen with this. So let's just get to, shall we?
Hey guys.
Hi.
It's Alexis. And I want to start off this video by saying thank you guys so much for being patient with me.
She feels so loud to me today, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's something about the volume on my computer, though, right now just feels loud. I'm afraid to turn her down, though, because this is the volume I usually have everything at when I'm recording. But it feels like she's kind of yelling at me. She's not, but it feels like it.
I've had a lot going on in my personal life, not relating to Amberlynn.
Sure.
And I've also been working a lot. But I keep getting comment after comment after comment on my TikTok saying, when's the next video? And I'm like, okay, I know, hold on, please. But the wait is over.
Okay. Let's go.
So today I am going to be answering some repeat questions that I haven't answered.
Now why are we doing all that? Now, why are we answering some repeat questions? Unless they're from the video she had to take down because she literally was wishing doxing on her ex. But like, why do I need to sit here and listen to you answer things you've already answered, Alexis? This is what I'm talking about. People are gonna get tired. People are gonna get tired, Alexis. Keep it new. Or get off the pot, or make something else, make some other kind of content. I don't need to sit here for 17 minutes and listen to you answer things you've already answered.
Yeah, but I'm also going to be responding to a couple things that Amberlynn said in her last live stream.
Okay.
So from the wise words of our favorite girl, shit's about to go down, wear a seatbelt and a helmet, light up a blunt because it's about to get crazy.
What? No, I know Amberlynn ain't ever lit up an actual blunt. I know she... Where was Amberlynn lighting up blunts? Please be serious. She's hitting that Delta 8 vape pen, and that's about it. What? She's chowing down on a gummy and getting high, maybe, but I would love to see Amberlynn light up a blunt. Please be serious.
Wear a seatbelt and a helmet, light up a blunt.
Also, her talking about wearing a seatbelt. Amberlynn saying wear a seatbelt. Girl, wear a seatbelt. You wear a seatbelt. How many times have you gotten called out for not wearing a seatbelt in a car? Please.
It's about to get crazy.
Alexis doesn't bring receipts.
Okay, guys, so apparently I don't bring receipts. So I feel like I'm going to have to really step it up in this one.
I don't think I don't think that is what Amberlynn was trying to say. And I think if I recall correctly, I don't know, that specific clip is from a 3-hour-long live stream, presumably. So it's possible I also just missed it. But I seem to remember Amberlynn just saying, like, she doesn't give the full context of receipts, I feel like is what I remember Amberlynn saying about Alexis. Now, Amberlynn doesn't bring any receipts until this very last live stream she did, so it's weird to me that she would be saying that about anybody. But I feel like the full context of Amberlynn saying that is just that, like, Alexis has presented stuff without all of the information present to make Amberlynn look a certain type of way.
Also, what are you talking about? And if this is the way that we're supposed to show receipts around here, I guess I have been doing it all wrong. Also, just regarding that specific screenshot.
Wait. Okay, first of all, I don't know what Alexis is expecting from Amberlynn when it comes to showing receipts. I don't know what technology Alexis is expecting, but it's very common for Amberlynn to just show her entire phone, laptop, etc. I mean, she does have the capacity to edit in, like, screenshots and stuff, but that was on a live stream, so I'm not gonna hate her for showing her phone. I think it's risky to show your phone on a live stream. Who knows who she could have potentially doxed if the wrong person texted her or something, but, like, I don't know. But also, what was this particular receipt, since Alexis is getting ready to talk about it? Oh, this is the one... This is the receipt about Amberlynn sending her money for gas and phone and Wi-Fi, which, like, Alexis claimed the only money that Amberlynn ever sent her was for Christmas, ? I don't know. I didn't really understand Alexis's point to begin with, to be honest with you, but all right, get to it, Alexis. Tell me what your response to that receipt is.
I just want to say that the Venmo transaction, the alleged Venmo transaction.
What do you mean alleged? You showed that Venmo transaction happened. What do you mean alleged? It was a transaction that you showed a receipt for. What? Maybe she's just using the word alleged wrong.
Was a Christmas gift. Also, who the cares about what I'm spending it on? I also spent my parents' Christmas gift on bills too.
Wait, but no, who the fuck cares what you spend it on? You're the one positing that she wasn't sending it to you because you needed help. You were the one saying that she was sending it to you just as a Christmas gift, not because you needed help. So she was just pointing out, no, you did need help paying your bills. Listen. This is the thing. This is the thing. I'm sure that Amberlynn could have given you way more than what she gave you. I'm sure her pocketbooks could have gone much further in terms of assisting you. But you're the one that came on here. You're the one that came on here and said that Amberlynn ain't never give you any money, and then that turned into, well, she didn't give me money for the right reasons, and now you're saying, well, who cares what I spent that money on? Well, you're the one that's making what you spent the money on the issue. You're the one that's who cares. You do, bestie. See, this is the shit I'm talking about.
I'm sorry that some of us have to actually go outside of our homes and can't just show up to work once a week drunk and make thousands of dollars.
Well, Alexis, bestie, what it sounds like is you acknowledging that you did need help. You did, in fact, need help, and thus you used the $100 she sent you to help you with those things. I don't understand. I don't disagree. I don't disagree that most people can't relate to Amberlynn. Most people can't relate to this nonsense of come in and live streaming for 2 to 3 hours while drunk off buzzballs. I do agree with that. But you're the one that made the issue out of this.
Okay, I'm sorry that is not the reality for me and a lot of other people.
I only drink once a week. It's part of my job now. They're buzzballs. Lame.
Anyways, next.
So, I did speak to someone who was 20. I'm gonna downright say it. And, her lying that, I didn't know Abby... her saying that I knew Abby's 20, a lie.
Okay, so you guys have been telling me I need to read my screenshots out loud, so...
Yes, thank God. I'm tired of reading them for you. I'm tired of doing it for you. Thank you for helping me with something today, Alexis.
I'm gonna start doing that right here, right now.
Thank you.
So Amberlynn said, Abby is talking about when I come to visit her. And I said, how many are you meeting? And she said, she sounds so excited, ha 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 ha. And I said, why am I, your best friend, not being visited? But some Bible-thumping 20-year-old is? I'm blocking you and your middle part.
Why is she, listen, what? The level of, I honestly feel like there's some level of, jealousy on Alexis's part when it comes to these other women. I don't understand, because also it seems like Amberlynn is talking about somebody coming, oh wait, no, never mind. I misread that. When I come to visit her. Okay. So I guess maybe that's fair. I guess maybe it's fair that, that Amberlynn, she's upset that Amberlynn will go visit these rando girlies, but not her. But also at this point, how long has Alexis even known Amberlynn? That she's upset that Amberlynn's gonna go visit somebody else before her. But either way, the vibes are weird here.
And she said, Laddie, because I was in a relationship at the time, and I told her to stop calling me daddy. And then I said, enough, because I was so sick of it. Just shut up.
I'm gagged that she decided that she needed to bleep the word bitch there, but not earlier when she said, how many bitches are you meeting? Love that.
Anyways, the first thing I want to say about this is, you know well that you would not go flying to, I don't remember where Abby lives, but it is not in a state close to Amberlynn. But anyways, you would not fly to some random state if you weren't romantically interested in seeing someone. Because
okay.
I was your supposed best friend, and for over a year, And the only time you ever tried to see me was when you needed a ride to Oklahoma and when you were sending me explicit videos trying to talk me out of my drawers over the internet and with Cookiegate and other things that I won't re-mention. Because I think you thought that I would be like...
My pants will be off in 2.2 seconds.
But then you realized that I wasn't just going to be another one of your girls. So then you lost interest in seeing me again.
I'm confused what this has to do with Amberlynn providing a receipt that refuted what you had to say. That was the whole point of Amberlynn showing the receipt about Abby, about when she found out that Abby was 20. So I'm confused what this has to do with that. And why are you so bent out of... I mean, I guess I get it. I guess I understand. You're upset that this friend didn't want to come visit you, but I'm also unclear. Like, you seem to have a good idea of who Amberlynn is, and if you can get it through your mind that there's no way that Amberlynn was going to get on a plane to fly to wherever this Abby girlie lived, that there's probably no chance that she was going to get on a plane to come visit you in Wisconsin. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I also just want to mention that nowhere in this text message or this entire conversation did Amberlynn ever refute the fact that Abby was 20, even though I literally said that she was.
Yeah, I'm confused what you're trying to prove here, because Amberlynn acknowledged that, like, initially, she showed how the conversation happened with Abby. Unless you're saying that this happened before the conversation that Amberlynn had with Abby. But Amberlynn showed the conversation where she talked to Abby and said that she found out, like, Abby confessed to her that she was actually 20 and not 25 or 26 or whatever she thought she was. So I'm confused what your point is here. Are you trying to say that this happened before that conversation?
We're solely just friends.
Right. And I'm the Easter Bunny. So, say we're living in a fantasy world, and you knew or thought that Abby really was 25. Don't you think that's still quite the age gap?
Yeah, she said that. she said that. She said that she thought that was weird. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really not trying to, like, protect Amberlynn. I just don't understand what the fuck point Alexis is trying to make here. I really don't. Amberlynn said that when she started dating her or, like, talking to this girl, she felt weird about her being 25 or 26. I don't understand. Yeah, I just don't.
Okay, that's like a 6-year difference.
Right. 6 years. Mm-hmm.
Well,
anyways.
Well, at best it was probably 7. At best it's probably 7 because you used 33, which is her current age, and I believe you said that she was talking to this Abby girl last September, so she would have only been 32. But anyways, math is hard for all the girls. Listen, I never would expect Amberlynn to be a smart math girly. It's okay if she gets it off by 1 or 2. I think we can all agree it's still weird despite 1 to 2 years.
This topic is not that important, but I did want to address that.
Okay, thank you so much.
So the first question is, do you have any justice for Beck coming? I'm extremely curious on what has happened to Beck during their relationship.
Again, I think it's great that Beck wanted to come forward and share their own story. I don't know why we need to hear Lex's third-hand account of what happened in the relationship, especially because Alexis wasn't even friends with Amberlynn at the time that Amberlynn was dating Beck.
So if you haven't seen this video yet, and some of you may not have because it was released today, August 16th, I would highly suggest
great.
Watching this video if you have any further questions about Beck and her relationship with Amber. Also, this is on Karina Kaboom's channel. And there wasn't a whole lot of questions on this video, but this was also just part 1. And I'm assuming Karina will release the other part or parts.
Yes, both of them are now out.
Or later this weekend.
That's one of the things that Alexis was saying that I was, like, saying bad things about. Literally, no.
So this question asks, did Amber say anything to you about Beck's new partner? So Amberlynn said she didn't know anything about Beck's new partner when I mentioned it to her, But then she asked to see the post, and I had made a comment like...
This is a repeat question, by the way. When we're talking about repeat questions, this is definitely one of them. Actually, it looks like she took this screenshot from the original person from the original video where she answered it.
Aw, Becky looks so good, and their partner is, like, really hot. And needless to say, she did not appreciate that comment. But she didn't speak on either of them in that very moment.
Where?
No, seriously. Where? Where did I say you had a whole bunch of bad things to say about them?
Oh, wait, I see. She was just using that old clip. See, her editing style, like, she can edit things in a funny way and things like that, but the way she edited that, I was just confused. But I think she was including that clip from an old Q&A video to show that, like, she wasn't saying that Amberlynn had anything bad to say about Beck or their partner. Okay, got it. Sorry. Sorry if I made that any more confusing. It's always possible I could be dumb as fuck, you know?
Second question that I want to address is, ever since you turned, do you get scared when you see an Oklahoma license plate?
Stupid.
Amber might be following you. And this question is in reference to...
There was a Pennsylvania license plate in front of Amberlynn's apartment, and she thought it was Jordy. No.
Yeah, I would like to hear about you paying for information about Jordy. I hope that you address that in here. I would like to hear the tea about that. To be clear, even if Alexis did it and Amberlynn stood by her, like, I think Amberlynn is just as much of a piece of shit for, like, standing by the friendship, especially after Amberlynn has, like, gotten mad at other creators for, like, doxing things about her life. I think that's, like, a shitty thing to do, to, like, sit there and let your best friend pay for money to get, like, doxing information about another content creator on YouTube.
No. Never happened. Never happened a day in my life. Secondly, Alexis. You know what? Let me just do it for you. Alexis literally paid to find out all of Jordy's information. I'm telling you.
Okay, so first of all, you were terrified that you were being stalked by Jordy or someone that Jordy paid.
So you did it? So what I'm hearing is you're not denying it?
And that is why you asked me to find the information about him so you could reach out to him and ask him. Secondly, I never paid for anything. Everything that I found online was public phone book websites. And
which, like, usually you do have to pay for like, in-depth, thorough information from there. Either way, both of y'all sound nefarious as fuck there. Both of y'all sound like you are up to no fucking good.
We had this conversation, we were on the phone, I already looked for text messages, and I do have the screenshots of what I sent her, but I don't want to show the screenshots to show what website that I found this information on.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Because I don't want to out Jordy and his public information. Public information, by the way.
The thing is that, like, and granted, it doesn't sound like it was ever used to dox anybody, but the thing about being like, things are public, well, obviously, they're not, like, that's not intended by Jordy to be found by people, right? So, like, if you're going and seeking this information out with, like, nefarious reasons for doing so, like, that's still not great, even if you found it publicly. Like, I don't, like, maybe we can call it not doxing because technically it's publicly available to everybody, but, like, the reasons you're looking for it sound nefarious. It sounds nefarious, especially if you're saying now your reason for doing it was because Amberlynn was afraid of being stalked by Jordy because she saw Pennsylvania license plates in her town, wherever she was living at the time. You already came on here and tried to make Amberlynn sound dumb for being scared that Jordy was stalking her. And now that's your reason for going out and seeking out information about Jordy. You're like, oh, well, I had to help you feel better because you were scared you were being stalked. You literally were just in a video ragging on Amberlynn for even seriously thinking that Jordy might be stalking her. Like, the way that your story switches up, like, you both are crazy. You both are crazy for thinking that Amberlynn might be seriously being stalked just because she saw a Pennsylvania license plate. And y'all are both weird for going and seeking out Jordy's personal information because of that. I don't understand.
I did not and would not pay for his information. More importantly, I've already talked to Jordy about this, so...
Okay.
Whatever.
All right.
But do you know who was there to witness this conversation? Jade was. So you better hope that she continues to want to stay behind closed doors when it comes to you.
I hope for Jade's well-being she does just continue to stay out of this mess. Honestly, it seems like, I say this a lot, but almost everybody involved in this situation probably just needs to log off for a little bit. Like, I guess that kind of contradicts me saying that, like, Amberlynn should be putting out other content not related to this. But yeah, I think they all just need to, like, take a break, and Wifey's probably in the best spot for just, like, totally not wanting anything to do with it.
Because I'm sure that if she didn't, she would love to confirm everything that I'm saying, including the allegation that you hit her, that you refuse to speak about. You'll talk about other things relating to Jade, but you refuse to touch on the subject where you hit her.
To be clear, I don't know that she was talking a lot about Jade otherwise. I don't remember too much else that was discussed regarding Jade, at least in that last live stream. I guess that's not to say she's never talked about her relationship with Wifey prior, but in that particular live stream, I think she was purposely trying to avoid talking about her at all because people were asking about that. But I still stand by, Alexis, it's not your business to be talking on it. Like, if she wants to come forward and talk about it someday, she can.
So that's really, 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 really interesting, Amberlynn. Also, I just want to add that I don't owe Jade anything. She told you to not talk about her. She never told me to not talk about her.
Well, and I don't know who that's in response to, but what I'll say is you don't necessarily owe Jade anything, but, like, if you're genuinely concerned about the way Jade was treated because of Amberlynn, then, like, you might actually owe her, like, the decency of, like, trying to respect what she would want in that situation, you know? Like, if everything we know about Jade is that she doesn't want anything to do with Amberlynn, then, like, perhaps you owe her that at the very least. I mean, you're not obligated to do anything, but, like, if you want to come on here and, like, claim that you're concerned about the way that Amberlynn treated her, then, like, the least you could do is also try to treat her well. You know? You feel me?
So if you're gonna talk about her, you might as well touch on the subject where you technically committed domestic violence. But knowing you, you're just gonna go ahead and keep this one under the rug.
Fuck.
So this next question is, wait, so are you and her friends again? Absolutely no, we're not friends again. And I will never be friends with her again. Especially if she is still with Emily.
That seems suspicious, because I guess, like, Amberlynn never confirmed it, but I thought we all kind of, like, were on the same page that during that last live stream, she texted Amberlynn something or another. I mean, I guess it could have been anybody, but that was just the vibes I was getting.
That's a hard no for me, dog. That is my boundary. I am not budging. I do not care.
Great.
Which is why I said in one of my videos, Amberlynn, do not move to Wisconsin if you're not sure that Emily is not going to screw you over. Because I'm not going to come pick you up and save you. I'm not. I'm simply not. Now, I know in her live stream, she had answered a question saying that she missed me.
Do I miss Alexis? Yeah. I bet Alexis misses you. Yeah.
So after I saw this, I did unblock her, and I did text her, and here is what I said.
Sorry. Now, Miss Ma'am, what? I will never be friends with her, but I will unblock her and text her and tell her that I miss her. Like, what? This is how I know this shit is just a mess. This shit is just a mess. It's just so dumb. All parties involved. All parties involved.
Because, like, I do miss her. But I also can miss someone and still not agree with what they're doing.
Sure.
And with what they're saying.
Sure.
And think that they're not a good friend to me.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Agreed. But also, you just... literally the juxtaposition of you literally just in this video saying, I will never be friends with her again. I will never. And then being like, oh, I have blocked her so I could tell her I missed her. I mean, that's comedy. That's kind of camp. That is ridiculous.
So then after I texted her, it immediately turned into her crying.
Yeah. Y'all ain't gonna work it out on the remix?
Like, if you loved me and valued me as much as you proclaim that you do, why wouldn't you just do everything that you could to keep me around when you had me around? Like, I do feel bad that she's sad. I do feel bad that she feels like I betrayed her. I do experience sad emotions when it comes to Amberlynn. I'm not just some heartless that doesn't care. And I feel like a lot of people think that.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of do, only because, like, you had me when you started, when you were like, I really love and care for Amberlynn, and I am really, you know, like, upset about the decision she's making regarding Tommy, and here are the issues that I have with Tommy. That all checked out. The part, I think, where you're losing people in terms of people thinking that you're just, like, heartless. And not that people are concerned about Amberlynn's feelings here, by the way, because I don't think people are. but I think the part where you lost people in terms of, like, claiming that you love and care for Amberlynn is that, like, if you did, you wouldn't be dragging all this other shit out that you never had a problem with up until this point. Like, you stood by for all of those things and seemingly did not have a problem with it. I mean, even the thing about Jordy's license plate thing or whatever, like, you clearly didn't have a problem with it and took it seriously at the time to the extent that you sought out information about Jordy so that y'all could verify that it wasn't him. But now that you've ended the relationship because of Tommy, now you're out here just, like, pulling out all the stuff about her. Like, I don't know what you think that's gonna help. Like, if I was, like, you know, trying to seriously mend a relationship with a friend because I was genuinely concerned about their partner, I think I would just focus on her partner and why I think her partner is not good for her. I don't know.
I do care. But there's also a lot of things that she says and does, whether it's to me or to other people, that I'm not okay with.
Sure.
That I haven't been okay with.
Sure.
And a lot of people in my comments are like, well, you were friends with her up until this. You were friends with her up until Tommy. Yes, but you guys act like I wasn't saying things behind closed doors.
Well, show me then. Show it to me, Alexis, because it seems like you were supporting it. It seems like you didn't stop her.
You guys have no idea what we talked about. Me and her were on the phone for 5, 6, 7 hours a day.
That's crazy.
Like, we talked about a lot. And when that whole thing with Casey came up, the Mr. Snowball or Snowflake or whatever, when that whole thing came up, I felt so bad for her. But at the same time, I was like, dude, but, like, you did these things. And yes, I did publicly defend her quite a lot.
Oh, but okay, all right, and that part. and that part. She was, listen, I went out of my way to not try to bring up Alexis on my channel, but she was historically out in the streets of TikTok and the streets of Facebook, like, publicly defending Amberlynn, talking about her like she was Amberlynn's #1 defender. So, like, yeah, that is, I think, you know, the part that is difficult for people. It's for you to suddenly come out now and have a problem with it.
You have no idea what I said to her when there wasn't a camera in my face or her face, okay? And just because you're friends with somebody doesn't mean you automatically condone and accept everything that comes with them.
Oh, absolutely. I do agree with that. I have friends that have done stuff that I don't agree with. Love that. I also, you know, I also think that you can change your opinion over time and things like that. I'm just trying to help you understand why people have those feelings, you know? Like, I want you to understand why people are questioning the change up now.
And speaking of things that I don't agree with, this is another prime example of me calling her out, not publicly, privately, and her still being absolutely delusional. So she says, I'm in love with someone who genuinely loves me for me. And I said, you're delusional. And she said, why can't you...
Okay, but who is this about? Because if this is about Tommy... then, like, that's only you recently calling her out for something. That's only recently. I don't think anybody has any questions about you calling her out for the Tommy nonsense. That seems very clear that you've never been supportive of Tommy.
Just be happy for me. She's never ever done anything to hurt me. She's only made me feel safe and loved. Which is absolutely not true.
Fair.
Do you know how many hours I had to sit on the phone with this girl because she didn't want to be alone, because Tommy was being absolutely awful to her,
I believe it.
ignoring her, telling her she doesn't want to talk to her, telling her she misses her ex, who has passed away. And in the meantime, responding to people and talking poorly about Amberlynn to these random people on Instagram.
Yeah, true. True. Like I've said, I've never questioned Alexis's motives when it comes to Tommy. I really think Tommy is a fucking dangerous nightmare for Amberlynn Reed, and I have never questioned Alexis's motives there.
You have the balls to sit here and tell people she, and me including, she's so amazing and she's never done anything to hurt you. You are a liar. Anyways, so I follow that up with, because she's lied to you and is mean to you and gaslights you. She's literally a psych nurse. She can do it better than anyone. She preys on you because you're vulnerable. And then I said, you are a liar.
Wait, Tommy's a psych nurse? Wait, I'll scroll back forward once I get done reading this. But it says she's literally a psych nurse. As in, like, she works in, like, a psychiatric wing of a hospital or something? Because that's also nuts. I don't know if that's true or valid. Like, I've not looked into Tommy's life like that. I think I had heard, maybe saw something on Twitter or something at some point that suggested she was a nurse, but nobody, like, posted any credentials or anything like that. Nor do I want anybody to send me Tommy's credentials, but that's crazy. that's nuts. If she really is a psych nurse, I don't know. It's hard enough. Just like a nurse in general is somebody who engages in the type of stuff that Tommy engages in, but yeah, that's crazy.
And then she proceeds to say, wow, we will never see eye to eye on this. I love you, but you're hurting me. I said, you cry about her every single day. Why are you being so blind right now? And she said, Wait, why are you skimming over the fact that you texted her, I'll literally bite you? What the fuck is that about? What is that about? Because she was such in a low mental health space. This has never happened before she was doxxed, and you literally know that. And I said, that's not true. And she said, yes, it is. And then I said, she lied about how much she knew about you and was watching reaction channels. It happened right in my face on FaceTime. You admitted it when we talked about it privately, when you asked why I didn't like her. Not once did she ever refute anything that I was saying.
Sure.
Not once in this entire conversation.
Honestly, based on the time that I talked to, this is kind of giving me, like, memories of going back and forth with Amberlynn whenever she came into my DMs accusing me of doxing Dr. Smith as her weight loss surgeon, because I would type out long responses to be like, this is what I did. I did not dox you. I didn't do these things that you're saying. I had no idea. And I would, like, long paragraphs to her, and she would just like respond in short little sentences of like, you're hurting me. This is hurting me and my channel and my health journey and this, that, the other. And so like this is honestly, this is giving me so much like deja vu because literally like Alexis is sitting here being like, here are things that happened that I literally witnessed happen to you because of Tommy. And this is why I'm saying all of these things. And then it's just Amberlynn like, we never did this. You're hurting me, Alexis. Like, not actually responding to any of the specific things that Alexis has outlined that Amberlynn, that have happened to Amberlynn because of Tommy.
Did she say, no, that never happened? And then she immediately started doing what she does best and started deflecting and said, Alexis, you've genuinely hurt me. And I was like, you haven't hurt me. Every time you get a new girlfriend, I'm on the back burner. Unless her and that girlfriend aren't doing well, and then she's flirting with me, and then she likes me again. You guys genuinely have no idea how much this woman has hurt me.
Sure.
And you can think I'm an awful person, that's fine. But you will never know the full story, and you will never know the things that I had to go through for her.
Well, while we're sitting here listening right now, what do you mean we'll never know the full story? I will also say, I think Amberlynn, to give Alexis some level of credit here, I think it's been clear that in other romantic relationships that Amberlynn has had with people, she's been very manipulative and coercive. We just saw that with Beck coming forward. And, I think it would be fair to grant that to Alexis as well, like as I'm sitting here listening to everything, like it's possible that Alexis was doing some defending of Amberlynn because of, the manipulative relationship that they have. I do think that's possible, especially considering, like, Beck used to be also a big defender of Amberlynn. But I think maybe a little bit of the difference is, like, we also know that Beck was, like, financially coerced by Amberlynn and, like, relied on Amberlynn in that kind of way. But, I think that there's probably some levels of that in terms of Amberlynn and Alexis's relationship as well. I still think that, like, Alexis right now, all of that being said, it still feels like the motivation for revealing things is just to try to hurt Amber as much as she can. And I don't think that necessarily makes anything untrue. I also don't feel like it means that Alexis is always giving us the full picture, the full story. But yeah, I can certainly, understand to some extent that there probably was a lot of manipulation in their friendship as well. I mean, I can also, again, and maybe it's because this conversation that she's showing us is so similar to the conversation that Amberlynn had with me. But that conversation that Amberlynn had with me about Dr. Smith felt so manipulative because she literally was like dangling, knowing, or dangling, like telling me at the beginning of the conversation that Dr. Smith was her weight loss surgeon, something that I hadn't even known for sure. I'd heard rumors that it could be true, but like had not known. And she was like, well, Dr. Smith is my weight loss surgeon and you doxed him. And like then held that over me for the rest of the time, all the way up until she finally revealed that Dr. Smith was her weight loss surgeon to her general public. And she was like, yeah, well, Zach was lying to you all this whole time. Like, was manipulative up until the point that she finally revealed it. So like, to that extent, I imagine that there are many ways that Amberlynn has also tried manipulating Alexis. Sorry for rambling about that. I just looked at how long I've been filming. I'm like, maybe you should shut the fuck up, Zach.
She did not love me. She did not care about me. I was always a second option. Always a second option. And she never prioritized me the way that I prioritized her. And I will stand on that forever. And you can sit there and say that I'm bitter and say this and say that. Maybe I am. Maybe I am bitter.
All right.
I did so much and I went through so much. And for what? For what? This is also why it takes me so long to make these videos. Not only because I'm actually editing, unlike somebody But this is also very emotionally toiling for me, okay?
Yeah.
And I realize nobody said I had to take this all to YouTube.
Sure.
But I wanted to.
I also do think, like, might be worth taking a break from it all, Alexis. Like, and that's just, like, genuine advice. Like, might be worth stepping away. Might be worth talking about this in a different avenue or platform, because I would imagine this just, like, revs up the emotion every single time you make a new video based on what you just said.
I wanted to. She can't just sit here and hurt people and hurt all of her girlfriends and hurt all of her friends and not have a single person stand up and say something. And if I've taught her anything in this entire relationship, is that maybe she should think before she speaks. And maybe she should see people for their actual value and not because they're attractive or not because of what they can do for her.
Well, she said something about, like, wanting to show Amberlynn that, like, she can't just do things and have people not stand up and say something, but, like, there are plenty of people on the internet standing up to tell Amberlynn that she done fucked up. So I do just want to say that. Like, I think at this point you've also, like, said your piece too, but it's fine. Also, you know, maybe this is healing in some kind of way for Alexis.
Maybe Amberlynn should actually love the people that love her. And I did love her. A lot. A lot. Sometimes more than anyone or anything else in my life. But I am realizing now I was only just another character in her fucked up little show. She didn't care when I got doxxed and I had to leave my job. She didn't care when girlfriends or potential love interests broke up with me because of her. She didn't care when I was struggling, whether that was emotionally or financially or mentally. It was always only about her. And if it wasn't about her, she sure as made it about her.
I will say it. I had a crush on Alexis off and on throughout our whole friendship. I've always been very upfront with that. But I'm able to, like, admit it.
I'm sorry, but, like, where and when did I ever say that I didn't like you back? I have quite literally shown screenshots in previous videos that stated that I was interested in pursuing something with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is true. You have literally shown those screenshots, but even when I was watching that video, it felt like you were trying to make Amberlynn out to be the weird one for having a crush on you. And that's why I pointed out and felt like it was weird that you were acknowledging that, like, you literally sent her text back suggesting that you also were interested. Like, you tried to make it out like she was crazy for having a crush on you. You know? I don't know. I was also just thinking a lot about, like, I feel like I do understand Alexis maybe a little bit better from this video. Like, it does seem like she's genuinely hurt about this, and I don't know. I feel like you need to probably unpack that somewhere that isn't on YouTube, you know? Like, it seems like you invested a lot into this relationship, and you're now looking back, and, like, that's the part that makes sense to me now is, like, you definitely were defending her at that time, but it feels like you've looked back and realized, like, how much a waste of your time the past year has been being friends with Amberlynn Reed.
And you claim that I'm downplaying all of this. How?
It did feel like you were downplaying.
Yes, I did say Cookiegate was unsolicited. Yes, it was. Because the entire conversation that we were having when you were screen sharing your entire conversation with Erica to try to prove to me that you weren't talking about me was also unsolicited. I didn't ask for that. You did that on your own volition. So you can stop telling people that I'm trying to downplay what was going on between us. I'm not. If anybody is trying to downplay what was going on between us or our friendship in general, that's you. And the only reason why we didn't date, you can tell everybody it was a gut feeling, but you know that it's because I wouldn't let you push me around. Not only push me around, but have me be a yes man to everything that you say and do.
Well, you kind of, it seems like you kind of were.
I have never been that kind of a person, and I will never be that person. And I knew that you knew that. I also knew how sneaky and snaky and slimy you were in relationships. And why would I subject myself to that kind of behavior?
Well, Well, girl, you literally were trying to ask her why she thought it wouldn't work out between the two of you. When she came to you with that text that said that her mom thought that she had a crush on you, you were sitting there trying to work something out, and that happened in like what, January of 2024? ? And you had witnessed her have relationships with Abby, Danielle, and Erica up to that point. So, these are the parts that I'm also like, this is not adding up, and it's hard to keep track of the timeline, and there's so many moving pieces. But it's just like, there is, like, as much as I feel like I've learned about Alexis from this video in particular, I also still have so many questions about the ways that her stories change once, like, Amberlynn comes out with, like, more information about what she's talking about.
Anyways, thanks for listening to me getting mad and sad and crying and talking about Amberlynn once again. Every single day, I'm still receiving an overwhelming amount of support. And I just wanted to thank you guys once again, because without you guys and your support, I really don't know how I would be okay. If there's any questions that you guys keep asking that I keep missing, please comment them under this video. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.
Fascinating. I will say, I don't feel like she actually answered a lot of Q&A. Like, calling that a Q&A is interesting, because I don't feel like she answered a lot of questions. It was mostly seemingly just her responding to what Amberlynn said about her in her last live stream, which is fine. I like that as a video, too. I just was expecting her to answer a few more questions. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like she did get me a little bit there at the end. As somebody who's been very skeptical of Alexis's motivations, I feel like I can see a world where, like, she is now reflecting on the past year of her life and her friendship with Amberlynn and questioning what it's about and, like, why did she support those things? Why did she stand by Amberlynn while she was doing those things? And yet at the same time, like, her story switches up so often, like, and not necessarily switches up, but, like, she adds more context so that she doesn't look bad. And that's the part I think that I find most interesting. But anyways, that's all I have time for today. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!